A peace deal signed in Islamabad. Two presidents at separate tables. And a war that has devastated the Middle East since February 2026. The Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding was signed on June 17. But the full story is far more complicated than a simple handshake. The 14-point document was signed separately. President Donald Trump in Washington. President Masoud Pezeshkian in Tehran. There was no joint ceremony. No handshake. No photo of the two leaders together. The deal was coordinated through Pakistani mediators who shuttled between capitals for weeks before. The final text was agreed. The deal's primary goal is ending the war between Israel, the United States, and Iran. The conflict began in late February 2026 after a series of escalating incidents in the Persian Gulf. It has since drawn in multiple regional actors. But the Islamabad MoU is only a framework. The hardest questions, especially Iran's nuclear program, were pushed to later negotiations. Here is the first thing the headlines missed. Israel did not sign this deal. Israeli officials were present during the negotiations in Islamabad. But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government refused to put its name on the final document. Israeli media reported that Jerusalem had serious reservations about the security guarantees for its northern border and the timeline for sanctions relief on Iran. The second secret is buried in Article 7 of the MoU. It allows Iran to maintain its uranium enrichment program at current levels for 18 months. After that, a new agreement must be reached. This is effectively a pause, not a rollback. Iranian negotiators insisted on this language. American officials accepted it to get the deal done quickly. Critics say this postpones the nuclear crisis rather than solving it. Number 3. The Strait of Hormuz reopening has a phased timeline. The deal states that oil tankers can resume transit within 120 days. But only under joint US-Iranian naval inspection. This means American warships will be stationed alongside Iranian Revolutionary Guard vessels in the Strait. Military analysts describe this as a high-risk arrangement. One false move could restart the fighting immediately. The fourth detail is about oil sanctions. The deal does not lift all US sanctions on Iran. It only suspends those directly related to the war. The broader sanctions architecture remains in place. This includes sanctions on Iranian banks, the energy sector, and individuals linked to the IRGC. Iranian officials accepted this as a temporary measure, but warned that full sanctions relief must follow. Fifth, Pakistan's role was bigger than anyone expected. Islamabad hosted 7 rounds of secret talks before the final deal. Pakistani intelligence agencies provided secure communication channels between Washington and Tehran when direct lines were cut. In return, the MoU includes a commitment from both sides to support Pakistan's energy corridor projects. This is a direct boost to the Iran-Pakistan gas pipeline and CPEC-related trade routes. The sixth hidden element is the withdrawal timeline. The deal says foreign forces will leave Syrian and Iraqi territory within 6 months. But this applies only to forces that entered after February 2026. It does not include the long-term US bases in Qatar, Bahrain, or the UAE. Turkish forces in northern Syria are also exempt. Regional analysts warn that this could create a power vacuum that militant groups will exploit. Now the biggest problem. The negotiations on Iran's nuclear program were postponed indefinitely. Washington announced that Vice President J.D. Vance would not travel to Switzerland for talks. The official reason was logistical. But sources familiar with the discussions told Middle East Eye that the real issue was disagreement over inspection protocols. Iran wants UN inspectors to have limited access. The US insists on full, unfettered access. What does this mean for oil prices? Global markets reacted cautiously. Brent crude dropped 3% on the day of the signing. But prices recovered within 48 hours when traders realized the Strait of Hormuz reopening was delayed. Analysts at Goldman Sachs predict that oil will stay above $90 per barrel until the inspection framework is finalized. For developing countries like Pakistan, this means continued pressure on import bills and foreign exchange reserves.
The deal also has major implications for India. New Delhi had been deepening its military and intelligence cooperation with Israel throughout the war. India's strategic analysts now worry that the Islamabad deal gives Pakistan greater leverage in Afghanistan and Central Asia. Indian media has already begun questioning whether the deal undermines India's access to Iranian ports, particularly Shehbaz, which competes with Pakistan's Gwadar port.
The position of the UN remains unclear. Secretary-General Antonio Guterres welcomed the deal in a statement. But the Security Council has not yet passed a resolution endorsing it. Russia and China have both expressed caution. Beijing wants guarantees that its oil imports from Iran will not be disrupted by future US actions. Moscow wants assurances that the deal does not legitimize any future military action by Israel against Iranian targets in Syria. French President Emmanuel Macron played a supporting role in the negotiations. Paris hosted 2 rounds of technical talks on sanctions relief. Macron's office confirmed that France would contribute to the naval inspection force in the Strait of Hormuz. European diplomats say the EU wants to use the deal as a foundation for broader engagement with Iran, including on human rights and regional security. But Tehran has not yet agreed to any such discussions. So what happens next? The deal sets a 90-day deadline for the first review. If either side believes the other is violating the terms, the agreement can be suspended. This is a fragile peace built on trust that has been broken many times before. For the people of Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria who have endured months of bombing, the deal offers hope. But the details tell a different story. The hardest decisions were postponed. And postponed problems rarely disappear.
Like the report, subscribe for more, and share the story.